Imagine waking up one day to discover that the foundation of your entire world has shifted beneath your feet. Imagine realizing that the person you trusted most, the person you believed was standing beside you as your partner and protector, made a decision that instantly placed doubt, fear, and heartbreak at the center of your life. That is exactly what happened to Kandi Burruss, a woman admired for her strength, her composure, and her unwavering dedication to family, suddenly found herself facing an emotional nightmare she never saw coming. One decision, one moment, one revelation that shook her universe to its core and left the world watching in stunned silence. Kandi Burruss has always represented resilience. To fans, she's confident, fearless, and seemingly unbreakable. She's a mother, a wife, a public figure who has carried herself with grace through years of scrutiny. But even the strongest people have breaking points. And for Kandi, that breaking point came when Todd Tucker, the man she trusted more than anyone, chose to take a DNA test involving their children, Ace and Blaze. What followed was not just an argument or a disagreement, it was an emotional explosion rooted in fear, love, betrayal, and the instinctive need of a mother to protect her children at all costs. Stay with us because this story isn't just gossip. It's a raw and deeply human moment that reveals how fragile trust can be, how powerful love truly is, and how quickly a private family matter can spiral into a viral storm no one can escape. To understand why Kandi's reaction was so intense, you have to understand who she is at her core. Kandi Burruss is not just a celebrity, she's a mother whose entire identity is wrapped around her children. Ace and Blaze are not just a part of her life, they are her heart, her purpose, her reason for pushing forward through every challenge life has thrown her way. Like every mother, she made an unspoken promise to her children the moment they were born, that she would protect them, fight for them, and shield them from harm no matter what. So when Todd Tucker made the decision to move forward with a DNA test involving their children, it wasn't just paperwork or a clinical procedure. To Kandi, it symbolized doubt, it symbolized mistrust. It felt like someone questioning the very truth of her motherhood and the integrity of her family. What may have seemed to reassurance or clarity to Todd felt like a devastating betrayal to Kandi. A line had been crossed, and once crossed, it could never be undone. When Kandi first learned about the DNA test, time seemed to slow around her. The world didn't stop moving, but inside her mind, everything froze. Questions flooded her thoughts. Why was this necessary? Why wasn't this discussed fully? Why did it feel like her role as a mother was suddenly under scrutiny? The weight of those questions pressed down on her chest, making it difficult to breathe. Disbelief came first, the sharp, piercing kind that leaves you staring into space, unable to process what you've just heard. Kandi had spent years building a life rooted in certainty about her children, her marriage, and the trust she shared with Todd. And in one moment, that certainty was shaken. It felt as though the ground beneath her feet had cracked open, exposing vulnerabilities she never imagined would be questioned. Then came the anger, not the kind that explodes immediately, but the kind that burns slowly and deeply, fueled by fear and heartbreak. This wasn't anger meant for spectacle. It wasn't something she could simply switch off for the sake of appearances. It was the anger of a mother who felt her children's emotional safety was at risk, of a woman whose trust had been questioned in the most painful way possible. And when that anger finally surfaced, Kandi erupted. Every word she spoke carried years of emotion. Every gesture reflected the pain of someone who felt blindsided. The composed public figure vanished, replaced by a raw, vulnerable woman experiencing heartbreak in real time. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't controlled, and that's exactly why it resonated so deeply. In the world of celebrity, privacy is a fragile illusion. What happens behind closed doors rarely stays there for long. Within hours, whispers began circulating. Fans noticed changes in energy. Cryptic messages appeared online. Insiders hinted that something serious had happened, and before Kandi could even process her emotions privately, the public was already speculating.
Social media exploded, timelines filled with shock, sympathy, and suspicion. Some fans immediately rallied behind Kandi, recognizing her reaction as a natural expression of maternal instinct and emotional pain. Others, however, began questioning her response. Was it too intense? Was it hiding something deeper? Theories multiplied at lightning speed, turning a family crisis into a viral spectacle.
Every tear Kandi shed, every moment of silence, every visible sign of distress was magnified and dissected. In this digital age, emotion doesn't exist quietly, it becomes content, and Kandi found herself at the center of a storm she never asked for. Amid all the noise, the speculation, and the online chaos, one truth remained painfully clear. Ace and Blaze were the real victims in this situation, too young to understand the details, yet perceptive enough to sense that something was wrong. They were surrounded by emotional tension they couldn't name or escape. Children are incredibly intuitive. They feel shifts in energy even when adults try to hide it. For Kandi, noticing confusion or uncertainty in her children's eyes was unbearable. It intensified her pain and fueled her reaction even more. This wasn't just about her feelings anymore. It was about ensuring that Ace and Blaze felt safe, secure, and loved, despite the storm raging around them. Every tear Kandi cried, every moment of anger she expressed, stemmed from that instinctive need to protect her children's innocence. To her, the DNA test wasn't just a question of biology, it was a threat to emotional stability, trust, and the safe environment she had worked so hard to create for her family. Todd Tucker never intended to cause pain. From his perspective, the DNA test was a means of reassurance, a way to confirm facts and bring peace of mind. But intention does not erase impact. Watching Kandi break down emotionally forced Todd to confront the reality that his decision, regardless of motive, had unleashed something far more powerful than he anticipated. Inside their home, the atmosphere became heavy with unspoken tension. Kandi paced, her voice breaking, her emotions spilling out uncontrollably. Todd tried to explain himself, to calm her, to justify his actions, but words felt inadequate in the face of her pain. This wasn't a debate that logic could solve. It was an emotional reckoning. The disconnect between them highlighted a deeper truth about relationships. Even well-intentioned actions can cause immense harm when trust and communication break down. And in that moment, their marriage was forced to confront cracks that had been invisible until now. As the story spread, a darker narrative began to take hold online. The idea that Kandi's reaction might indicate guilt gained traction. Commenters analyzed clips frame by frame, scrutinizing her expressions, tone, and body language as if they held hidden confessions. The question echoed endlessly across platforms. Why would someone react so strongly unless there was something to hide? Others pushed back fiercely, arguing that pain does not equal guilt, and that a mother's instinctive response to perceived threats can be overwhelming. The divide between empathy and suspicion grew wider with each passing hour. Hashtags trended, memes circulated, the story took on a life of its own. Insiders later revealed that Kandi's emotional state was layered and complex. Beneath the anger was profound fear. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of public judgment, fear of her children being emotionally scarred by circumstances beyond their control, and perhaps most painfully, fear that the trust she believed anchored her family was no longer secure. Her reaction wasn't calculated or performative. It was the result of years of emotional investment colliding with a moment of perceived betrayal. It was grief, anger, sadness, and love tangled together in a way that left her emotionally exposed. In those moments of vulnerability, Kandi reminded the world of something deeply human. Strength does not mean invulnerability. Even the most composed individuals can shatter when the people and values they hold closest are threatened. However, that is the reality Kandi Burruss was forced to face, a moment that didn't just shake her emotionally, but threatened to permanently fracture her family, her marriage, and the identities of her children.
This wasn't just reality TV drama. This was a real-life emotional collapse that unfolded in public, leaving fans stunned and divided. And the most unsettling part, it wasn't a stranger who lit the match, it was Mama Joyce. Kandi Burruss is a name that carries weight, from her early success with Escape to her legacy as a Grammy-winning songwriter. Kandi has always built her career on talent, discipline, and control. Kandi has always been seen as someone who knows who she is and where she's going. When she joined the Real Housewives of Atlanta, fans didn't just see a celebrity, they saw a mother, a wife, and a woman fiercely protective of her family. Her image has always been rooted in transparency, especially when it comes to her children.
Ace and Blaze are the center of Kandi's world. She has never hidden that. Her social media is filled with family dinners, vacations, birthdays, and quiet moments that show her devotion as a mother. To Kandi, motherhood isn't just a role, it's her identity. And that's exactly why what happened next felt so devastating. Because when you attack a mother's truth, you're not just questioning facts, you're questioning her entire existence. Anyone who has followed Kandi's life knows that her relationship with Mama Joyce has always been complicated. There is love there, real love, but also control, tension, and a history of public conflict. Mama Joyce has never been shy about voicing her opinions, especially when it comes to Kandi's personal life. Over the years, viewers have watched her openly criticize Todd Tucker, question his intentions, and insert herself into family matters that many felt crossed boundaries. There have been countless moments on RHOA where Kandi tried to keep the peace, visibly uncomfortable but unwilling to fully confront her mother. Instagram lives, reunion clips, and family gatherings all showed flashes of tension just beneath the surface. One viral live from last year showed Mama Joyce openly questioning Todd's motives, while Kandi sat tight-lipped, frustrated but restrained. At the time, fans chalked it up to Mama Joyce being Mama Joyce, but in hindsight, those moments now feel like warning signs. In the months leading up to the scandal, fans began noticing subtle shifts. Kandi's captions became more cryptic. Posts about family were paired with phrases like, "Trust is everything," and "Sometimes the people closest to you hurt you the most." Todd appeared distant in photos, less engaged, less present. Even Kandi's public appearances felt different. Her smiles didn't quite reach her eyes. Her laughter felt cautious, almost forced. At a recent charity event, body language experts online pointed out her tense posture, crossed arms, and moments of withdrawal. Fans who know Kandi's warmth immediately sensed something was wrong. Interviews with friends and colleagues included comments like, "Kandi is strong, but everyone has a breaking point." At the time, no one knew how prophetic those words would become. According to multiple sources and on-camera moments circulating online, Mama Joyce allegedly made a decision that would change everything. She ordered DNA tests for Ace and Blaze without informing Kandi. No private conversation, no heads up, no attempt to handle the situation quietly or respectfully. Instead, Mama Joyce allegedly chose to reveal the existence and results of these tests on camera. Let that sink in. A deeply personal family matter involving children was turned into public content. Clips surfaced showing Mama Joyce holding sealed envelopes, teasing information, calm and confident, as if she already knew the damage this would cause and chose to do it anyway. Her demeanor was striking, unapologetic, controlled, almost rehearsed, and standing across from her was Kandi, visibly growing more distressed by the second. Insiders say the day started normally: breakfast, laughter, light conversation, cameras rolling for what was supposed to be another ordinary family moment. But beneath the surface, Mama Joyce already had a plan in motion. Sources claim the DNA tests were arranged days earlier, deliberately kept from Kandi. By mid-afternoon, the envelope was in Mama Joyce's hands. She called a small family gathering, cameras were present, and then, casually, almost effortlessly, she dropped the bomb.
She allegedly suggested that Ace and Blaze's paternity might not be what everyone believed. Witnesses say Kandi froze. Seconds passed in silence as her mind tried to process what she had just heard. Then the emotional dam broke. Kandi screamed, she cried, she erupted. This wasn't staged, this wasn't exaggerated. This was a mother realizing in real time that her own mother had publicly questioned the foundation of her family. Her reaction was raw, unfiltered, and devastating to watch. Footage of that moment quickly went viral, igniting a firestorm online. Within hours, the internet exploded. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every platform was flooded with reactions. Kandi just found out on camera. Mama Joyce crossed every line. This is unforgivable. Hashtags trended as fans debated whether Mama Joyce was exposing the truth or orchestrating public humiliation. Longtime viewers pointed to Mama Joyce's history of boundary-crossing behavior, but even they admitted this was different. This wasn't about opinions or arguments. This involved children, identity, trust. Fans cried alongside Kandi in reaction videos. Others expressed rage at Mama Joyce's actions. The situation stopped being entertainment and became a moral debate playing out in real time. Perhaps the most unsettling part of the entire ordeal was Todd Tucker's reaction, or lack of one. According to sources, Todd remained unusually quiet during the reveal. He didn't immediately defend Kandi, he didn't confront Mama Joyce, he didn't shut the situation down, and that silence spoke louder than any words could.
Social media immediately began analyzing his body language, the tight jaw, the avoidance of eye contact, the subtle head shakes. Memes circulated, suggesting Todd knew more than he was saying. Others argued he was simply frozen, overwhelmed by the chaos. But for Kandi, that silence felt like abandonment. In her most vulnerable moment, she needed her husband, and he wasn't there in the way she expected. According to insiders, Mama Joyce allegedly had a second envelope containing even more damaging DNA information. When Kandi noticed it, her distress intensified. Sources describe her stepping away from the group, shaking, struggling to breathe, retreating into herself as the weight of betrayal fully set in. Meanwhile, Riley, her older daughter, began asking innocent but heartbreaking questions that cut deeper than any accusation. That was the moment everything became painfully real. This wasn't just about Kandi's pride or public image. This was about her children, Ace, Blaze, and Riley, caught in a storm they didn't create and couldn't escape. The thought of their identities being debated publicly was unbearable. As the day went on, Kandi reportedly confronted Mama Joyce privately, demanding answers. According to sources, her voice broke as she asked why her own mother would do this publicly, why she would humiliate her instead of protecting her. Mama Joyce allegedly stood firm, claiming she was simply revealing the truth and acting in the children's best interests. To Kandi, it felt like the ultimate betrayal, a violation of the sacred mother-daughter bond. Todd's continued silence only deepened the wound. Fans noticed. Industry insiders commented. Former RHOA cast members weighed in, with one stating, "I've seen Mama Joyce stir the pot before, but this crosses every line." This scandal quickly became more than gossip. Legal experts online questioned whether publicly revealing DNA information without consent could have consequences. Moral debates erupted over loyalty versus truth, family versus transparency, protection versus exposure. Kandi retreated emotionally, exhausted, broken, processing not only the betrayal, but the collapse of the image she worked so hard to maintain. Private texts and calls between Kandi and Mama Joyce reportedly grew tense, filled with anger and tears. The contrast between Kandi's public persona and private pain became impossible to ignore. As days passed, the tension only intensified. Media outlets amplified the narrative, framing Kandi's reaction as explosive and controversial. Fans became emotionally invested, not just watching the story unfold, but feeling it. The drama transcended celebrity gossip and tapped into universal themes of trust, love, and family. Viewers weren't just spectators anymore, they were emotionally involved, projecting their own fears, experiences, and vulnerabilities onto Kandi's pain. The DNA test had become more than a test. It was a symbol of how quickly certainty can unravel and how deeply family bonds can be tested. Kandi Burruss's reaction to Todd Tucker's DNA test decision wasn't just drama. It was a mother's raw, unfiltered response to fear, doubt, and perceived betrayal. It was painful, intense, and heartbreakingly human. And whether you see it as protectiveness or something deeper, one thing is undeniable: love was at the center of it all. Now we want to hear from you. What do you think really happened behind closed doors? Was Kandi's reaction a natural response from a mother protecting her children? Or do you believe there's more beneath the surface? Did Todd make a mistake, or was he simply trying to ensure peace of mind? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe for more emotionally charged deep dives like this. Share this video with friends who love intense drama and real human stories. Because this story is far from over, and as it continues to unfold, we'll be right here breaking down every moment, every tear, and every shocking twist along the way. Remember, sometimes the truth hurts, sometimes emotions explode, but the story is always worth watching.